Something feels different at the facility lately, doesn't it? For years, we've relied on one man to be the heartbeat of this offense. But the air in New Orleans is thick with a tension we haven't felt in a decade. We all want that next Super Bowl, and we know the front office is making moves that suggest a massive shift is coming. If you're a real fan who cares about the future of this franchise, hit that like button and subscribe. The Saints faithful deserve to know the truth. Something big is happening with our legendary backfield right now. Now we have to talk about the name that's been synonymous with Saints football for so long. Alvin Kamara. There is a buzz growing louder every single day, and it's something that should make every one of us pause. Reports are starting to surface, specifically from analysts like Christopher Knox, suggesting that the New Orleans Saints might actually be looking for a way to move on from our star playmaker. It's hard to even say that out loud, right? But here's the thing. The Dallas Cowboys are apparently looking for a proven veteran to help out Javonte Williams, and Kamara's name is right at the top of that list. This isn't just a random rumor. It's a situation fueled by the reality of our current roster and the looming financial constraints that every NFL team has to navigate. The Cowboys are coming off a season where Javonte Williams was a hero, but he was run into the ground with nearly 300 touches. They need help, and they see a potential opening in New Orleans. Now this is where it gets interesting for us. We know Kamara wants to stay, he's said it. He loves this city, and we love him. But the feeling might not be mutual from a business perspective anymore. Why? Because the landscape of our backfield has changed drastically. This offseason, the Saints made a massive statement by signing Travis Etienne to a 4-year, $48 million deal. You don't pay that kind of money to a guy if you aren't planning on him being the focal point of your offense. And that's the emotional crossroads we're standing at. We have Etienne now, and we have a room full of young talent like Kendre Miller, Audric Estime, and Ty Chandler. It feels like the coaching staff, led by Kellen Moore, is preparing for a future that might not have room for the high cap hit of an aging veteran, no matter how much he's done for us in the past. Moving Kamara before June 1st is almost impossible because of the $18 million dead cap hit, but after that date, everything changes. The numbers become manageable, and the possibility of a trade becomes a very real, very frightening conversation that we need to be prepared for as fans. When you look at the current state of the Texans quarterback room, it is easy to get comfortable. We know C.J. Stroud is the franchise. We know Davis Mills has been a rock-solid professional in that secondary role. But this is where the concern starts to creep in for some fans. Behind those two, things get a little murky, and that is why this Clayton Tune situation is so vital. Last year, the team brought in Graham Mertz, a young guy with plenty of potential but absolutely zero NFL snaps under his belt. He spent the season as the emergency option, learning the system, but never being tested in the fire. Now the coaching staff has to ask themselves a very difficult question. Is Mertz truly ready if the unthinkable happens, or do they need a veteran who has actually stood under center in a regular season game? This is where the tension lies. Tune has 15 games of experience. He has seen NFL defenses. He has felt the speed of a real pass rush. Even if his stats haven't been mind-blowing, that experience is a currency that coaches value deeply. But there is a risk here too. Bringing in a guy like Tune to compete with Mertz could disrupt the developmental path they had planned for the younger quarterback. It creates a high-stakes environment during what should be a teaching period. You have to wonder what this does to the chemistry in that room. The third quarterback spot might seem irrelevant to the average observer, but in a season where we have Super Bowl aspirations, one play can change everything. We saw it across the league last year where teams losing their starters and watching their seasons vanish because the depth was not there. The Texans are clearly trying to avoid that nightmare. They are looking at Tune and seeing a guy who could potentially provide a higher floor than Mertz. It is about security. It is about knowing that every single player on that 53-man roster can contribute if called upon. This is not just a workout. It is a message to the rest of the team that no spot is safe and the pursuit of improvement never stops. The uncertainty of who will win this battle adds a layer of drama to the coming weeks. But this is where things change, and we have to look at what this really means for our Super Bowl window. Are we still trying to win right now? Or is this the beginning of a quiet reset that the front office isn't fully admitting to? Because this could become something much bigger than just a trade. If we move Kamara, we are essentially signaling that the era of the old Saints is officially over. Every move we make from here on out will be viewed through that lens. And that's the biggest question facing us. Is this depth enough? We keep hearing about the potential of these younger players, but potential doesn't win games in December. Alvin Kamara wins games in December. He's a dual-threat weapon that defenses still have to account for every single snap. Taking that away from Kellen Moore's offense seems counterintuitive if the goal is to compete at the highest level. Yet, the emotional looping of this story keeps coming back to that Travis Etienne contract. $48 million is a lot of commitment. It tells us that the team sees ETN as a cornerstone, not a backup. This creates a scenario where Kamara could find himself as a very expensive second option, and for a player of his caliber, that's a tough pill to swallow. The drama of it all is that we might be watching the final weeks of a legend in a Saints uniform without even realizing it. The news about the Cowboys challenging their backups is the spark. But the fire is right here in New Orleans. If Dallas feels like they need a more proven option, because their internal growth is stagnant, they will be aggressive. And if the Saints feel like they have too many mouths to feed in that running back room, a deal could happen faster than any of us are ready for. This is the kind of move that could change everything about the identity of this team. It's about more than just yards per carry. It's about the culture of the locker room and the message it sends to the fans. We are standing on the edge of a major shift, and the suspense is only going to grow as we get closer to that June 1st deadline. I'm going to be honest with you all. This situation actually worries me more than I want to admit. I really like the move to bring in ETN and the youth we have, but I think fans should pay attention to how quickly things can go south when you move on from a veteran leader too soon. I really love the energy that a guy like Kendra Miller brings, but can he really replicate the impact Kamara has on a 3rd and long? This feels like one of those moments where the logic of the salary cap is clashing directly with the heart of the fan base. I've watched every snap of Kamara's career, and the thought of him helping the Cowboys reach a Super Bowl while we're in a transition phase is enough to keep any Saints fan up at night. I think we need to balance the hope we have for the future with the reality of what we're potentially giving up. This could be incredible if ETN becomes the superstar we're paying him to be, and the young guys provide a spark we haven't seen in years. It could be the move that freshens up the entire offense and gives Kellen Moore the flexibility he needs to innovate. But on the other side, this could become a problem if the locker room loses its leader and the young backs struggle with the pressure of replacing a legend. I want to be cautiously optimistic. I want to believe that the front office has a master plan that involves a smooth transition where everyone wins. But the NFL is rarely that kind, as we all know. There is a hidden pressure on the coaching staff to prove that they don't need the old guard to win. It's a bold strategy, and honestly, it's one that defines franchises for years. Whether you agree with it or not, the atmosphere around the team is shifting. We aren't the same Saints we were 2 years ago. We are a team trying to find a new identity, and sometimes that means making the hard, emotional choices that hurt in the short term. I'm torn between wanting to see what the young guys can do and wanting to see number 41 retire in the black and gold. This is the ultimate test for us as fans. As we move closer to the summer, the story of Alvin Kamara and the New Orleans Saints is far from over. In fact, it feels like the most dramatic chapters are yet to be written. The talk about a trade to Dallas might just be speculation for now, but the ingredients for a massive move are all sitting right there on the table. We have the cap pressure, we have the massive ETN contract, and we have a room full of young backs waiting for their moment. The future is incredibly uncertain, and that creates an unresolved tension that is going to hang over training camp until a final decision is made. Something bigger is still coming. I can feel it, and I know you can too. This isn't just about one player. It's about the direction of the entire New Orleans Saints organization under Kellen Moore. Will we embrace the change, or will we regret letting a cornerstone walk away for a bargain price? I want to hear from you. What do you think about this potential trade? Should we keep Kamara at all costs, or is it time to let the ETN era fully begin? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because the real fans need to have this conversation. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay updated on everything happening with the Saints. Our journey back to the top is just beginning, and we need the faithful together for whatever comes next.